Welcome back to Box Office Maniacs. Tonight I am going to do something I don't think I've really ever done, is explain something that I just posted on our channel, and that is the Killman. So if you're watching this and you haven't watched the Killman, or if you've already watched the Killman and you're confused as to what it is that you just watched, well, I'm here to explain to you what it is. So if you've ever watched this channel, you know Vince Maniaci, my partner that does all the movie reviews and everything else with me on here. Well, we've been friends since grade school, and we actually met talking about a movie. That's how we actually met each other, and I don't remember what grade it was in. It was either second or third grade or something like that. And the movie that we were talking about when we actually met was Robin Williams' Popeye, which I still think is a great film even today, and I think it's a classic. So fast forward a couple years where Vince's family ended up moving to Florida. And of course, this was way before the internet was even thought of or invented or anything like that. And actually, back in the day, if you can remember, long distance phone calls, you couldn't just pick up your cell phone and call somebody in Florida and talk however long you wanted. It was actually, they charged you for a long distance phone call back then. So the only way that he and I communicated back and forth were these. And this is an audio tape. For those too young to remember what this is an audio tape. And this is actually a real audio tape that Vince sent me. I actually looked it up because he mentions a few things on his tape. So this is from October of 1993. So that's how old this tape is. And what we used to do is sit down and just record ourselves talking about things that happened in our lives. And we would record probably 7, 8, maybe 10 tapes throughout a year, and then throw them all in a big box and send them to each other so that we could sit down and listen to them and, catch up on everything that's happened to each other. And I actually do miss those days because it was a lot of fun getting this box from Vince and listening to all these tapes. And sometimes it would take me a week just to sit there and listen to it, and it was a lot of fun. What you would compare it to now, I suppose, would be like a podcast. Your own personal podcast that somebody made for you, you would sit down and listen to. And actually, let's go ahead and listen to one of his tapes. When I'm sitting here recording on your tape you sent me, I hope it's not as crap as most of my tapes are. Let me rewind this and see what it sounds like.
There was the defeat of Saddam Hussein in Desert Storm. Then there was the fall of the Berlin Wall. Now, another critical moment in the history of the United States of America and possibly the world. A Maniaci history. That's right. Miss Carol Sue Maniaci, my mother, has asked me, Vince Robert Maniaci, to play A Nightmare on Elm Street 1 so that she can watch it. This is a first in Maniaci history. Never before recorded has there even remotely been a time that Carol Sue Maniaci ever wanted to watch Freddy Krueger. But tonight, October 13th, my mom asked me if she could watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. This date should go down in history. More late-breaking news as it develops.
So there you go. See, we just had fun making these tapes for each other. And sometimes we'd play music and, soundtracks, and then we'd do goofy stuff and put other sound effects and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. So eventually that ended up turning into making videos for each other. And I believe I was the first one who made a video for him. And it all started when I was sitting in my parents' living room on a couch, and I thought I heard something on the roof.
The heard me go on the roof.
I heard somebody get on the roof. It was up there.
And Vince thought that was funny. He thought it was hilarious. We talked about it all the time, and we thought it was just funny, but, you know, it's one of those things. So then I started thinking to myself, well, maybe there was something on the roof, and it was a time traveler from another dimension. See, that's how my brain works. So that ended up becoming The Killman. So what The Killman actually was a movie that I made for Vince. The idea for the film was that this character, who's a Lego character, travels through another dimension to our world, and where everybody's human. So when he travels through into our world, he becomes human, and the person he's chasing also becomes human. But then when he comes to our world, he is walking around in the video that I was making for Vince at the time. So when I say I hear somebody on the roof, the Killman was actually on the roof.
Well, anyway, I like this guy here. He's neat.
However, I cut all that out of the movie because nobody would have ever understood that. So that's basically the origin of where the character came from. So then, after I finished making that, I ended up making the Killman 2, and then, of course, the Killman 3. But by that time, I think the Killman had pretty much gone off the rails. It had gotten so weird and bizarre by the third film, it didn't really make much sense even to us anymore. I had natives in it. I had like an Indiana Jones character in there. I had a serial killer in there. It all just went nuts. So then, a little while after I finished the third one, I decided to go back and remake the first one. Because by that time, I was pretty good, I think, in animating these Legos, because I had been doing it for such a long time now. So I spent about 8 months making the Killman that I just posted on YouTube. And the first half of the film is basically a remake of the original Killman. But since I was much better at animating the characters, and I had obviously gotten much better camera than what I started with, I wanted to do something nice and clean, and it looked really good, and I wanted to tell a much better story. So that's what I ended up doing, was recording all that for Vince. Like I said, it took around 8 or 9 months to animate all of it. And then when it actually goes into the mid-world, you see how the quality of it changes, because that was the original video that I made for him. So if you watch the Killman, you'll notice the ending of it is also choppy with all the animation at the ending of the movie, is because that was the original Killman film. That's what you saw. That's what he saw when I made it for the first time. But a lot of those sets I no longer had, so I had to use that footage because I couldn't go out and buy all this other stuff that I didn't have anymore, so I ended up using the original footage at the end. So I did all that work just for Vince. I mean, it sounds crazy now, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing it. I sit here and I watch the movie, and I remember how much fun I actually had making that film. Even though it was a lot of work, a lot of time, it was still a joy to do. So all these years later, I am so happy to be able to bring it to other people, so other people can see all this work I put into this thing. So now I am actually working on a Killman 2, a sequel. Actually, it would be Killman 4, but no one's ever seen the other two, and probably never will see the other two. Now that I have much more, modern technology, I hope to really improve on what I did back then, and do something a little bit more impressive. Okay, so that's pretty much what the Killman is, where he came from, and if you watched the movie, I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you haven't watched it, now you know a little bit more about it, so go watch it, and I'll see you on our next review.
Okay. That hurts me to go on the roof.